I wasn't born and raised in the USA. I didn't grow up on a farm. I'm not in love with my pickup truck. I've not got a southern drawl. I don't wear a cowboy hat. There's no dirt on my boots. But that doesn't mean that I can't play 3 chords and the truth. This is my kind of country, a little island by the North Sea, with gray skies and seasides. That's my sweet home. I'm not trying to change where I was born and raised. So each line that I write, I'll make it my own. And it might not be your cup of tea. My kind of country, my kind of country. Oh, there ain't nothing like a day out at the coast, going round to your mom's house for a Sunday roast. And who needs a Bud Light when you've got real ale? You can wash it down with another round of pills and lemonade. This is my kind of country, a little island by the North Sea, with gray skies and seasides. That's my sweet home. I'm not trying to change where I was born and raised. So each line that I write, I'll make it my own. And it might not be your cup of tea. My kind of country, my kind of country. Well, I've seen the 7 wonders and I've been down under, but something keeps pulling me back. And I'm just one voice trying to make some noise and put this kingdom back on the map. This is my kind of country, little island by the North Sea, with gray skies and seasides. That's my sweet home. I'm not trying to change where I was born and raised. So each line that I write, I'll make it my own. And it might not be your cup of tea, but eat your heart out, Nashville, Tennessee. This is my kind of country, my kind of country. Thank you very much. Cheers.
One winner. Okay, so there's a bit of a backstory to this one. Actually, there's a backstory to most of these songs, so I will be telling a few stories tonight. But yeah, I do the open mic in here from time to time, which Sean runs. It's a fantastic open mic. Unfortunately, it's maybe coming to an end, but that's a different story. And I play my own songs. And every time I do, I always get someone saying, play one we know. So one week I thought, you know what, I'm going to have you, you clever little sod. I'm going to write a song called One We Know, and I'm going to come back the next week and play it. So this song's called One We Know. It goes like this.
So you want to hear Oasis for the 10th time today? You've been drinking since the sun came up, and now you're half the world away. And you think that we're the jukebox that plays your favorite songs, but you don't need to tell us if you want to sing along, because 1, we know, and 2, we don't care, and 3, we don't know the chords, let alone the words. 4, you've not tipped us, and 5, it's not your show. 6, you're just some daft swag saying, play one we know. Well, here comes Billy Big Balls giving us some abuse. Well, hey buddy, it's okay, I remember my first beer too. And the reason you're not up here is 'cause you've not got the guts. So go ahead and tell your mates you think our music sucks, because 1, we know, and 2, we don't care, and 3, we don't know the chords, let alone the words. not your show. At 6, you're just some deaf twat saying, play one we know. You want Billie Jean and brown-eyed girl, and then rocking all over the world. Sweet Caroline, sweet child of mine. I'd walk 500 miles, then I'd walk the line. I bet you want Mr. Brightside too, so you can shout out, this is a tune. And later on, when you want one more, I bet you'll ask for Wonderwall. Well, one we know, and 2 we don't care. 3 we don't know the chords, let alone the words. 4 you've not tipped us, and 5 it's not your show. 6 you're just some daft twat saying, play one we know. Play one we know. Thank you very much. Cheers.
So this is the point in the evening, the afternoon, where I get embarrassed because I'm not that confident in front of the microphone, but I need to ask you a few questions, if that's okay.
Yep, of course.
Your starter for 10. So how did your musical journey start, and I suppose who were your greatest influences early doors?
It was my brother that got me into music. He got a guitar, started taking lessons, and I don't know, I kind of always thought he was a bit cooler than me. So one day he was trying to start a band, and they needed a drummer, so I was like, I'll learn the drums. And that was my inspiration for getting into music, and I got a drum kit for Christmas. I didn't actually know really what I was asking for when I asked for a drum kit. I literally didn't know anything about music. My mum and dad forgot to get me some drumsticks. So for Christmas Day and Boxing Day, I was playing with knitting needles. That was my introduction to music, and I kind of was raised on rock and Britpop, I suppose, from my dad, and myself got into metal and then acoustic music, which was a massive jump, and then now country is absolutely my thing, and yeah, I love it. That's my journey.
So you started on the drums. So when did you first pick up a guitar?
Probably a similar time. Yeah, I just started getting into music.
It was your brother's guitar, was it?
Yeah. He taught me Wonderwall. I know it's cliche, but he did. Wonderwall, Smoke on the Water, Highway to Hell, all the sort of classic guitar riffs. Yeah.
Wow. So you went from there, playing the classic, the riffs. So then what made you go... So people play the classic riffs, right? They just want to do it with their brother. And then they go, oh, do you know what? I'd just like to take this a bit further. So you suddenly listen to other music and you want to play them. What were the other songs that suddenly came to you that went, I'd like to play them?
I don't know. I never really thought about it. It wasn't like I decided that I want to do it. It just happened naturally. I couldn't stop myself, like going home from school and practicing. In terms of like songs, as I say, I got into metal. There was the whole like emo phase going on when I was at school, and I was quite heavily into that.
So what was your emo thing then? Come on.
What are you laughing at?
No, I was asked earlier, ask a question, what's your guilty pleasure? So what's your guilty pleasure? I was a bit worried it might be a bit odd, but what's your guilty pleasure? Emo, I imagine.
No, it's not. It would have to be Man, I Feel Like a Woman by Shania Twain.
Okay. It's great guilty pleasure. So it sounded like an evolution, not a revolution. However, going to songwriting is a revolution. That's not evolution. That's not playing songs. So what was the thing that started you to go, do you know what? I do this, but I want to write my own stuff and play my own. What?
Well, I always wanted to write my own stuff as well, but I didn't really get songwriting for a long time, which I know that sounds weird because people think it's just this sort of spontaneous creative thing. You can either do it or you can't, and I really disagree with that because I kind of remember having this epiphany moment. This guy came in. I studied music at ACM in Guildford. I did performance, but I got into songwriting. This guy came in. He's called Ralph Murphy. If anyone's heard of him, probably haven't, but he's a songwriter in Nashville. He's absolutely amazing. He's not around anymore. But he came in and did a masterclass, and in one day, in about an hour, to be honest, he changed my mind on songwriting. And I just really got into it from that moment on. And as I say, I feel like I understood it then. And the style of music that I liked as well changed practically overnight.
So had you written anything before?
Yeah, loads, yeah.
So what started you to write? Because it's a big thing to go from playing other people's songs to actually writing. So what was the first thing that made you go, I'm going to write?
I think as soon as I knew 3 or 4 chords, I started writing. That was it, yeah. Okay, this next song is a little bit slower. The way that I tend to write songs is, well, quite often the first verse is kind of in the present or in the past, and then I have to sort of extrapolate out into the future and imagine what might happen later on in that story. And this next one is a bit more personal, and I wrote it about 6 years ago, and in the second verse I've got a daughter, and at the time of writing it she wasn't born, but now she is, and it's really odd seeing these songs sort of come to life, all of the verses. So yeah, this song's called Gonna Be a Rock Star.
I was gonna be a rock star when I grew up. I was gonna play the guitar like no one could. I practiced so hard and I got pretty good. I was gonna be a rock star, then I fell in love. I was going to the top to play sellout shows, and I was gonna be famous like the Rolling Stones, and I was gonna be a free man and live my life on the road. I was gonna be a rock star, then I fell in love. And I was gonna walk right out on that stage with thousands of people that'll watch me play. And when I hit the first chord, I'd blow them all away. But all of those dreams have changed. Some things you plan, some things you don't. When I was about to be a dad, man, we were broke. And I was thinking to myself, 2 mountains hard enough. But when I looked into her eyes, well, I just fell in love. Whoa, oh. I was gonna walk right out on that stage with thousands of people that'll watch me play. And when I hit the first chord, I'd blow them all away. But all of those dreams have changed, 'cause now I look at them rock stars, they don't seem like much. Washed up and lonely and getting high on drugs. Then I look around me, why would I give this up? I was gonna be a rock star, then I fell in love. I was gonna be a rock star, then I fell in love. I was gonna be a rock star, then I fell in love. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to do another slow one now. This is one of my favourite songs that I've ever written. And it's a song about my grandpa. And again, for some context, my grandpa was a really creative guy. And he was a big influence on me. He wasn't musical, but he had a very sort of magical way of making boring things interesting. And as a kid, yeah, that was magic, and I wanted to capture that in a song. So that's what this song's about. It's called My Grandpa Does Magic. My grandpa does magic, yeah, he can do it all. He turns paper into airplanes and makes them fly right down the hall. 100 miles an hour, just like real-life jumbo jets. My grandpa does magic like no one else. 'Cause he doesn't need a special dice that always lands on 6. And he doesn't need a magic wand for his kind of tricks. He just takes a look around him to see what he can find. He's always got a way of blowing my mind. I wanna know, how'd you do it? Won't you show me how it's done? 'Cause when I'm older, I wanna do the same thing too. Yeah, Grandpa, I wanna be magic just like you. So how'd you get so tall that you can reach up to the trees? And how do you make helicopters out of sycamore seeds? And how do you know everything that anyone could know? And how'd you make us laugh telling the same old jokes? I wanna know, how'd you do it? Won't you show me how it's done? 'Cause when I'm older, I wanna do the same thing too. Yeah, Grandpa, I wanna be magic just like you. My grandpa does magic, 'cause I heard him the other day. He's not been here for all these years, but I still heard him say, son, you're doing just fine, and not long down the road, you're gonna have some grandkids of your own. Saying, I wanna know, how'd you do it? Won't you show me how it's done? 'Cause when I'm older, I wanna do the same thing too. They'll say, Grandpa, I wanna be magic just like you. Thank you.
Wow. So you say this man changed your life. Yeah. How did it change it?
It made me appreciate music in a way that I'd never been able to before. And I loved music before. And in a way, I feel like I missed so much because I didn't understand it.
So, sorry, what do you mean you missed it?
I know.
Because all of us who come here, we listen to music, and we obviously miss it because we just listen. But so what do you mean by missing?
I enjoyed the musical side of music in terms of like the harmony, the melody that made me feel something. and it always did, and obviously always will. And I think that's instinctive for most people. But the lyrics, for a lot of people, and I was definitely one of these people, they were kind of just like something that happens on top. It didn't really matter because it was all about the music. And then I realised after listening to this guy, it's not all about the music. Actually, the lyrics are what a lot of people, when they're listening, if you can tell a story and get them to a point to understand something, that's when you've got a good song, I think.
I'm completely with you because, you know, I mean, one of the big songs that ever, like the first one, Wonderwall. I mean, what? Yeah. Right? However, the songs you play absolutely mean something. You can listen to them and you can feel it. So I've got a question that my wife asked me to ask, and then earlier your wife asked me to ask.
I've got a wife.
Apparently that's an in-joke. Has becoming a father changed how you write and what you've written and where you write, I guess?
Is this from Jade or Gail?
No, Gail asked me earlier. She said, do you know, that would be an amazing question. And I thought, it is. And then when I asked Jade, I said, is there one question you could ask? And she said, I suppose that one. So, yes.
It is a brilliant question. And you oh, bless. It definitely has changed what I write, because I've barely written anything since Charlotte was born. I think that's largely, obviously I've got less time, but when I have sat down to write, I want to write a song about her, and it needs to be this perfect song. And I'm really struggling to get past that, because it's not. No song is perfect. But it's definitely a blocker at the minute.
I imagine it would be a blocker, because I suppose you know that in 14 years' time, she's going to be this teenager who listens to the lyrics you write, and who knows what teenagers will be like, but I imagine there's going to be a, what?
I hadn't even thought of that, and that's, yeah, it's making me not want to write even more.
Oh, sorry. Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Okay. I'll move on then.
No, it's fine, honestly. I will get back to writing, but yeah, it's just...
It will change you.
Yeah, well, obviously, it has, overnight, definitely.
Yeah. So when you knew you were playing here, and you knew these guys were going to come and watch you, what made you compile your set list and the order that it was?
I like to structure my set lists in a way that I can tell a story around. So, as you've all probably noticed, I do a bit of talking in between my songs, because I like to, well, the lyrics tell a story, but I also like to talk about how they were written. And I'll try and get it in a logical way, so it starts off and it progresses, and one song sort of flows into another. There's certain things like I don't like songs in the same key next to each other, and I don't like too many downbeat songs in a row or anything like that. But other than that, I mainly like to write in some sort of story structure.
So the song we've just heard, tell us about that.
So yeah, Gonna Be a Rock Star. That was a song I wrote about 6 years ago, and I suppose that was kind of when I was getting into country in a big way. And I wrote it before my daughter was born. And as I mentioned, as I was introducing it, I write in this way where, well, often, not always, but often, the first verse is in the present or the past, and then I have to extrapolate out into the future. And there's an element of artistic license, right? And you create something, and it might not be true. And yeah, as it's becoming true now, it's really odd. There's quite a few songs like that are starting to become true.
I find that really interesting, because I was going to ask you the question, are you a storyteller, or are you someone that just reveals the truth about themselves? Because some people write about their lives, some people take other people's lives and tell a story. Yes. So it's interesting what you've said there. They seem to combine.
It's a grey area, to be honest. Because when I got into songwriting, I didn't want to be an artist. I wanted to write for other people. So I wrote a lot of songs from the point of view of other people. So particularly like female artists, I would write from their point of view. And if I sang them, they wouldn't make any sense. It just wouldn't sound right. But that kind of taught me that it doesn't really matter if it's true, as long as you tell a good story. There was the famous quote, I can't remember who it was, but it's don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
I'm bad with that.
Yeah. And that's true to an extent. I think when you become an artist, you have to sort of brand yourself in a way and have this story that you project. And it might not necessarily be true, but that's what you're trying to sell.
But so you say it's not true. So literally it might, but actually there's a truth there.
Absolutely, there is. Some people it's not true at all, and some people it's absolutely true. For myself, I'd say it's 80-90% truth, and then a little bit of artistic license.
Even if it hasn't happened to you, it's happened to someone, and you can feel how that happened to that person, and you wanted to convey that emotion.
Yeah, spot on, yeah.
Cool.
Okay, this next song is a song inspired by work. I've got some work colleagues in today. Cheer for the Obsidian Massive. Hey! The last time I took some annual leave, I decided I'm going to do nothing, which I don't often do. But the one thing I did do is write this song. It's called Week Off. It goes like this. I'm gonna take a week off. I've been working like a dog, more than 8 hours a day. This 9-to-5 job is really pissing me off. It's all work and no play. I think it's time I put my feet up and kick my shoes off on the couch. I'm making plans for staying in. I got the whole damn thing worked out. I'm getting drunk on Monday, getting high on Tuesday, and on Wednesday I'm playing FIFA and GTA. I'm getting in on Thursday, watching TV on Friday, and I can't wait. I've got a week off and I don't want to waste one day. I got walls that need painting and lights that need changing. I should be doing DIY. I got a big long list of things I need to fix, but I just don't have the time. I'm getting drunk on Monday, getting high on Tuesday, and on Wednesday I'm playing FIFA and GTA. I'm staying in on Thursday, watching TV on Friday, and I can't wait. I've got a week off and I don't want to waste one day. I don't need no destination. I'm staying here for my vacation. If you've got leave that you need taking, then why don't you come on down? I'm getting drunk on Monday, I'm getting high on Tuesday, and on Wednesday I'm playing FIFA GTA. Come on, get involved. Staying in on Thursday, watching TV on Friday, and I can't wait. I got a week off and I don't want to waste one day. I've got a week off and I don't want to waste one day. Hey, thank you. Thank you for getting involved. Didn't even have to prompt you. I think that was you, Jay, to be honest. Oh yeah, please, clap along, sing along. Okay, I'm going to slow things down for this next one. There's a very famous song, I'm sure you all know, called 9 to 5. I have to concentrate when I say that now because this next song is called 5 to 9. I wanted to flip that idea on its head and write a song about the time outside of work. Because since getting a job, I did used to do just music, sort of full time, I suppose, and then went and got a proper job, and doing so made me appreciate the time outside of work even more. So this is called 5 to 9. Money doesn't grow on trees, and bills don't pay themselves. Got an 8-hour day waiting for me as soon as I get out of bed. Kiss my baby goodbye, then I pull off the drive, and the second I hit the road, I start counting down the minutes and the hours until I get home. 'Cause from 5 until 9, that girl's mine, oh mine. When she slips her hands under my shirt, suddenly I'm feeling fine. So we close those blinds and we take our time. There's no other girl like her in this world, and she's mine, all mine. 5 to 9. Well, the boss man, he says, son, you've got to stay late. You've got deadlines overdue. If you ain't gonna change, I'll find someone, and that's up to you. Said, I know that I should, and I would if I could, 'cause I could use the pay. And if I only knew what was waiting for me, then you'd do the same. 'Cause from 5 until 9, that girl's mine, oh mine. When she puts her hands under my shirt, suddenly I'm feeling fine. So we close those blinds and we take our time. There's no other girl like her in this world, and she's mine, all mine. 5 to 9. Holding her, holding me, there's nowhere I'd rather be. At the end of the night, when I go to sleep, she's right there in my dream. From 5 until 9, that girl's mine, oh mine. When she slips her hands under my shirt, suddenly I'm feeling fine. So we close those blinds and we take our time. There's no other girl like her in this world, and she's mine, all mine. She's mine, all mine. 5 to 9. Thank you.
Right, so there are going to be questions from the audience now, and we got a question from the artist who was so astounding 4 weeks ago and on our second podcast, but she wants to come and ask a question now.
Hello, Sam.
Hello, Meg.
Excuse me, I'm recovering from a cold right now, so apologies. My question for you was, obviously you've released an album, and I was interested in the kind of catalyst for that. What took you from, obviously Sean asked about the catalyst for songwriting. What was the catalyst for you for recording?
It's similar to what I was saying earlier about how I got into it. It wasn't like a moment that I decided I'm going to do it. From the second I realized I could, I did. So I had a crappy MacBook, literally like the bargain basement one that you could buy. Well, there isn't a bargain basement one, by the way. They're all fucking expensive. But it was the cheapest one. It was made of plastic. and I figured out you could plug an auxiliary cable into it and into my electric guitar with a certain adapter. It sounded absolute shit, but it didn't stop me because I wanted to record. And then I got into, I basically just Googled stuff. I can download this program called Audacity and edit it, add reverb, things like that. And it's like, what the hell's reverb? Okay, that makes it sound cool. Let's have a bit more of that. And then just sort of learn from there. I never thought I'm going to learn that. I just wanted to, so I did.
So it was an overall quite an experimental process, and there was no kind of like perfectionism. It was just kind of just figuring things out as you go, really.
Yeah, there was always, and I think there still is, perfectionism though.
Yeah, I understand that.
But my ears were so shit, I didn't realise how bad it was. So I still put stuff out there that was absolute crap, thinking, that sounds good.
It probably sounds better than you think.
I'm not sure. I listen back now and it's like, why is that still on the internet? And I'll probably think that about the stuff that I'm doing now, once in 10 years' time when I listen back.
We're always our own worst critics, but it's part of the process, isn't it? Part of the process of improving, like iteration.
Yeah, 100%, yeah. So this next one is a song I wrote about this place. I've actually got a few songs about this place, which shows that I maybe drink too much in here. But I wrote this after the first open mic that I went to, that you ran, and it kind of turned into, it was almost a lock-in, where we were passing the guitar around, we got really drunk, and the music got worse and worse. And I went home, and the next day, with a hangover, I tried to write a song, and this is what came out. It's called Ale House Rock. I'm gonna get a little drunk tonight, sing a tune on the open mic, play it like it's going out of style from the very first note to closing time. Let's make this Ale House rock, turn the music up, party never stops. Yeah, we drink until we drop. Don't let your glass go stale, raise your holy grail. Everybody singing hail to the ale, cause it just turned beer o'clock. We're gonna make this Ale House rock. We're gonna make this Ale House rock. So shout out if you want one more. There's more draft than an open door. So fill your cup and let the good times pour. Let's put the bar in these bar chords and let this Ale House rock. Turn the music up, party never stops. Yeah, we drink until we drop. Don't let your glass go stale, raise your holy grail. Everybody singing hail to the ale, cause it just turned beer o'clock. We're gonna make this Ale House rock. We're gonna make this Ale House rock. This is where there'd normally be a guitar solo, but I'm playing alone today. So pick your poison and take a sip and chug it down. We're gonna drink a huge volume from the first note until closing time. So pick your poison and take a sip and chug it down. We're gonna drink a huge volume from the first note until closing time. So pick your poison, take a sip, chug it down. We're gonna drink a huge volume from the first note till closing time. Let's make this Ale House rock, turn the music up, party never stops. Yeah, we drink until we drop. Don't let your glass go stale, raise your holy grail. Everybody singing hail to the ale, cause it just turned beer o'clock. We're gonna make this Ale House rock. Let's make this Ale House rock, turn the music up, the party never stops. We drink until we drop. Don't let your glass go stale, raise your holy grail. One more time, sing hail to the ale, cause it just turned beer o'clock. We're gonna make this Ale House rock. 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 Hey. Thank you very much. Cheers. Okay, this is going to be my last song. Unless you scream and stomp your feet and everything, and I'll see what I can do. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. If there's one song that you might have heard of mine, I'm by no means famous at all, but for some reason, this song resonates with some people in this pub. So if you have heard of this song and you know the lyrics, then please sing along. It's a song about Yorkshire. Hey, it's called God's Own Country. I was born on Holy Land, amongst the dales and Scarborough sands, where the green grass grows underneath the white rose. And I was raised here in the north, just south of the Yorkshire moors, a little town out by the coast. When I'm feeling down, I take a drive out to the east. Something picks me up when I just stare out at the sea. When I hit the road, I miss the scenery right here in God's own country. We don't need a London town, we got our own beautiful south. And if you want to know the score, it's London 0 and Holt 4. Glasgow ain't no Staxton Bridge, Reading ain't a patch on Leeds, crowds sing louder in the north. We made the Human League, Pope and Kaiser Chiefs, and I bet Arctic monkeys have sat here before me. Oh, I could move to Nashville, but I'm in good company right here in God's own country. We set trends right here and it makes me proud. If Wilberforce was still around, then he should take a bow. Strangers it might seem, strangers say hi in the streets right here in God's own country. What would I drink once the working day is through? It's the only place on earth where I can get a proper brew. Oh, I could move to China, but I prefer the tea right here in God's own country. When he says my time is up, when I finally bite the dust, I've just got one last request. It won't cost an awful lot, just burn my body in a box and gather up whatever's left. Take me to Flamborough where the white cliffs meet the sea. Throw me in the air and let me scatter in the breeze. Say your last goodbyes and let me rest in peace right here in God's own country. Thank you very much. Cheers.